Glad you're here, Libra Rising. I'm going to be taking you through the astrology for the month, wishing you a happy new year. I'm going to be presenting the astrology with the planets in transits in a chronological order, and it's a very active month, so this video is long. And if that's not your jam, I appreciate that. But if you like deep analytical astrological information about your rising sign Libra, then your Cosmic Girl 101 has you covered. Okay, let's get into it. From the 1st to the 5th of January, we have Pluto in Aquarius opposing Mars retrograde in Leo. So what you could be experiencing here is differences of opinion regarding your sense of joy and pleasure and how your social circles and your dreams and goals are not in aligned with what it is that you find fun in. And this could be tricky because we have a certain social connection and we enjoy our friends and we enjoy social outings, absolutely. But when that Mars retrograde in Leo in that 11th house of social connections is opposed to Pluto in Aquarius in your 5th house of joy and pleasure, the pushback and changes going on here are indicating astrologically for you, Libra rising, that you may need to seek out different people, places, and faces to connect with, because you may be feeling disconnected from your usual social haunts. And that can benefit you. Some friendships and social connections run their natural course. And this is what you might be feeling the push-pull about. Like, oh, I want to do this. This is what gives me sense of joy. Whereas everyone's like, I don't want to do that. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, maybe I need to seek out some people that are with me and appreciate my quirky visions about the future and what I find fun in. That can't be a particularly bad thing, but it might be hard for you to swallow that with razor blades, maybe. On the 2nd of January, we've got Venus moving into her zodiac sign of exaltation, where she's really content and does Venusian things very well in Pisces. Now, Venus is your ruling planet if you're a Libra rising. And so when your ruling planet, which governs your body, your mind, your spirit, your identity, your psychology, is positioned in Pisces in your 6th house of work, health, services, sickness and illness and labor, this is where you could be feeling fatigue and really trying to draw in your creative juices just to get a job done. So this is about heavy lifting, keeping up the momentum, connecting with co-workers, services that feel organic to you and not draining to you, and making you feel like you're spreading yourself too thin. So watch for overcompensation, taking on more work than necessary, because your body might be responding in kind and you could end up feeling very fatigued and sick. So heads up there, not that it's a bad thing to roll your sleeves up and get a job done and let's all whistle while we work, not a problem at all. But because Venus rules your physical body in the house of health, work and services, this is where it can be obvious that you need to have a healthy balance and draw hard lines in the sand. So don't go stretching yourself too thin when it comes to work. Okay. On the 6th, we've got Mercury squaring off with Neptune. This is a very frustrating day, and the frustration's coming from siblings, cousins, or something in your immediate environment, like your neighborhood or your neighbors, really ruffling your feathers when it comes to work, health, services. So what does that mean? It could mean that siblings and cousins are taking more of a center stage and they're draining you, or they're stopping you from feeling that you can assist them because you've got to keep your energy and go to work. You can't be listening to them all night on the phone, for example, draining and dragging on information. So this is again about keeping healthy boundaries between you and other people. This could be like neighbors having the music on all night and driving you nuts and you can't go to work the next day, or not finding the service in your local environment that you need that really helps you in some capacity. So the 6th of January is Forget It Day. Do not expect transparent, honest communication. Things can be very much like the sensation of lost in translation. You can't put your finger on something. The transit will pass, and the aspect will pass, but it may be like pulling teeth trying to find the truth or get something concrete in your hands. So deep breaths on the 6th of January. The same day, we have Mars retrograding back into Cancer in your 10th house. Now, Mars won't go direct until the 25th of February next month. So you have a window of time, if you will, to iron out any kinks with your professional life, your image, or differences of opinions that you have with superiors in your professional arena. And this can only be helpful because Mars is really good at strategizing, coming from a different angle, and being more cunning, if you will, to accomplish what it wants to accomplish. So this is you being more savvy, intuitive, feeling out the waters. This is like you knowing the terrain before you walk into a board meeting. You know just how to speak to people. You know just what you need to do to keep your head above water and be seen as the number one in the company. But if you're trying to get yourself out of a sticky entanglement that feels emotionally draining professionally, this is also a helpful transit because your ruling planet Venus in the 6th house is trining Mars retrograde in your 10th house. And this is a great time to change up your work life or work and professional routines. From the 6th to the 11th of January, we now have Pluto opposing Mars retrograde, but it's in Cancer in your 10th house. So this retrograde is still happening with Pluto and Mars, but because Mars has moved into the 10th, the tension now is your sense of joy and pleasure is really governed by what you do professionally or a superior or someone in power in your workplace. So this could be you trying to do your work, whistle while you work, while you're really not completely all in. So again, if you need to re-strategize, get people on board to swing your way, pitch what you need to pitch in regards to improving your professional life, this is the transit to do it. So even though there's an opposition, it's something you can work with. But from the 6th to the 11th, this is about you being very honest and authentic with yourself about what it is that you find joy in, and is your professional life complying? Is it on the same page? Are you doing what you want to do? Are you in the right workplace, Libra rising? These sorts of questions may be up for grabs from the 6th to the 11th of January. Now on to the 8th of January, we have Mercury ingressing into Capricorn. The dignity of Mercury increases significantly. It's been in Sagittarius in detriment, not doing very well for 2 months. And now Mercury ingressing into Capricorn in your 4th house, it's a significant improvement for Mercury because Mercury can do mercurial things more organically. So this is about getting facts, figures, logistics, paperwork, documents settled and dealt with once and for all in a very practical, no-nonsense manner. And this is connected to your 4th house of home, family, real estate, and property concerns. So if there has been talk or mysteries going on within family, Mercury moving into Capricorn in your 4th house, now things can be sorted and you may find an unraveling, if you will, of information that can be quite hard to hear or digest with Mercury in the very no BS zodiac sign of Capricorn in your 4th house. So you may hear truth bombs, you may see family unravel, you may also potentially see real estate and property renovations being more prominent in your life from the 8th of January moving forward. On the 13th, we have a full moon in Cancer. So this is lighting up your 10th house. And again, this points to the intuition you have about your work life and what you do in your professional arena. Is this really in flow with you? Do you feel embodied? Do you feel nurtured? Do you feel supported? Is the environment right for you what you do in regards to your work life. A superior could drop out of the workplace and you may have a new boss step in the door on the 13th of January, or you may potentially be feeling the push-pull between work life and home demands. So deep breaths on the 13th of January. The 14th to the 15th, your ruling planet Venus is squaring off with Jupiter retrograde. And this square is happening between the houses that is about work, health, and services, where your ruling planet is. And it's having a problem with Jupiter. Now, these two planets are benefic planets. It's like, what's the problem? They're life-giving, they're amazing, they're abundant, they're about uniting. But when they're in the square, this is about overindulgence. So this is biting off more than you can chew, Libra rising, when it comes to higher education, long distance travel, bureaucracy, legalities, spiritual practices, and philosophies about your life could be coming into question. So this is like too much spiritual interaction. It's like consulting your tarot cards constantly every day, all day. It's too much. You're overindulging. You don't need to do tarot readings that much. Or you're too involved with applying to 5 different universities and community colleges. There's too many places to visit in the world and you can't do it all. So this can be a sobering day, but a frustrating one because it's a square. And so if you have lofty goals and ambitions about expanding your mind, body, and soul, while that's a fantastic thing, with your ruling planet Venus in the 6th house of work, health, services, and labor, you may be feeling the drain of it all. So this is good because this is again leading back to Venus in exaltation in Pisces, taking on more than you can handle and being too giving or too much in service. So don't commit to anything that you simply can't follow through on. So trusting your intuition and knowing that something's just a bit too much between the 14th and 15th of January will only be beneficial for you. So reining in the lofty ideas and being more grounded and practical is necessary on these dates for you, Libra rising. From the 15th to the 16th, we have your ruling planet conjuncting Saturn. So this is the day where you make a definitive decision that is set in concrete. You're in or out when it comes to self-discipline regarding a health regime. It could be a service that you connect with or a service that you provide that you go, yes, I'm going to be doing this selfless work, like charity work. This is the day where I get a new pet. This is the day where I lose a pet. This is the day where I swap jobs. It's that defining. And your ruling planet, because it rules your body, Venus, connecting with sobering, determined, very father-like Saturn, you're making something happen that is beneficial for you. So this is where the day where you start to realize, look, I can't keep doing what I'm doing. I need to rein it in. And that's great. Very, very helpful. So you may start to hear Libra rising that you become very aware of your limits, your healthy lines in the sands and your personal boundaries. And that's quite optimistic. So well done you. The 15th and 16th is the days where you go, that's enough. I'm in or I'm out. And it's impacting your work, health, services, and labor. We also on the same days have the Sun opposing Mars retrograde. And this is someone in your family unit or something to do with real estate and property that is really, really interrupting your work, your workplace, your image on the public stage, if you will. So this could be the days where you have a very bad taste in your mouth, and that's why you're making a definitive decision when Venus conjuncts Saturn on the same days about I am no longer participating in this. It's affecting my health. It's affecting my body. It's affecting my work. I am done. So something quite, again, sobering or quite serious is going on for you, Libra rising. And the 15th and 16th of January are the days where you go, that's it, I'm done. On the 19th, the sun ingresses into Aquarius. And this is happening in your fifth house of joy and pleasure where Pluto is. And the sun doesn't like being in Aquarius. It's like that annual dental visit. We don't want to do it, but we have to do it. So the sun's in the zodiac sign of Aquarius where it goes, I don't want to be here. And in your house of joy and pleasure, this is where things become very sobering about your sense of fun. So the fun could go out the door, the sex could go out the door, creative pursuits and hobbies that you really enjoy could take a back step, and that could have something to do with the decisions you've made between the 15th and 16th of January. So when the sun gets into your fifth house of joy and pleasure, things may seem, your pleasure house may seem a little lackluster. And the astrological advice with that is do what you need to do, take a beat. Not everything is going to be amazing at all times. So when the sun moves into your fifth house of joy and pleasure where it's not happy for 4 weeks, you're simply going through a transit that we're all going through, Libra rising. It just so happens to be in a place where you usually get your adrenaline pumping. So the adrenaline pumping, the fun dial's being turned down exponentially, and you may not like it. But we're all going with the tides of the planetary cycles here. From the 21st to the 22nd, when the sun does ingress into your fifth house of Aquarius, it's going to conjunct Pluto, and this sets off a new cycle. And the new cycle is about a different vision and liberating yourself in regards to seeking out intellectual ways of joy and pleasure regarding children, creative pursuits, your hobbies, sex, romantic partnerships, and connections. And that's good because obviously something is trying to come into your experience that changes up the fifth house of joy and pleasure dynamics for you. And I find this quite helpful, Libra rising, for getting you out of a funk of the same old, same old. So this is quite good. And the same day we have Uranus retrograde, sextiling Mars retrograde. So whilst the sun is conjuncting Pluto in your house of joy and pleasure, really breaking through ideas and concepts about these subjects, you have the potential to have other people's resources and support systems at the same time, helping your career and your public ambitions. So this is like, even though there's changes going on with your workplace or professional life, or what you do on the public stage, you're potentially breaking new terrain at the same time. And this will improve, if you will, intimacy with partnerships, your creative pursuits, your hobbies, and the subjects of children improves. So there's a it's like an intellectual breakthrough that's helpful because other people's resources in your career is changing at the same time, and that helps you expand the mind and the body when it comes to navigating different ways of enjoying yourself. So that's quite optimistic. The 25th to the 26th, beautiful days. Your ruling planet Venus is sextiling Uranus retrograde. So this is, again, utilizing other people's resources and leaning on others to support you in regards to work, health, services, and labor. So there's people around that can help you with your workload, help you find services that you may need at this time, and help you do the heavy lifting. So the 25th to the 26th looks like guardian angels coming in to support you. So take it, Libra rising. On the 29th, we see Mercury conjuncting Pluto and a new moon happening on the same day. And this is happening in your house of joy and pleasure. So this is nice for feeling that you can have really healthy debates and discussions about your future and what it is that you want to expand on when it comes to your sense of joy and pleasure. Topics of children, creative pursuits, your entrepreneurial hobbies, where you get your adrenaline pumping, sex, intimacy, romantic connections. Things can really start to be discussed, talked about, and you could be looking and talking about the future in very different ways than you have even entertained before. So I like this on the 29th of January for you, from getting out of a rut, ruffling things up and changing things up and looking towards the future with a lot of optimism. So really, really nice. If you're wanting to have children, this may be a fantastic day to start really getting the ball rolling, if you will, and preparing your physical body. On the 30th, we have Uranus going direct in Taurus, and this is your eighth house of shared resources with people that you're connected to. Could be partners, could be husband or a wife, or could be in any partnership. But it's resources that support you, like inheritances, assets, possessions. And Uranus has been here since 2018. So it's not your first rodeo in having lots of changes and stops and starts with those subjects of other people's resources, inheritance, assets, and possessions. But what you've learned to develop here is a muscle for going with the flow in regards to being realistic about, I cannot keep putting my eggs in one basket. There's other ways of accumulating wealth for myself. There's other ways where I'm connected with other people financially that we can develop wealth in the future than going down the same road. So this is good with Uranus going direct. This is like you and your partner, again, being a business or otherwise, going, let's move in a different direction. So I like that for you, Libra rising, moving forward from the 30th of January with Uranus going direct. The last 2 days of the first month of 2025, as you can appreciate, there's so much going on, right? Well, the last 2 days are wonderful because we've got the sun trining Jupiter. So these two planets lining up, these two planets are life-giving, they're optimistic, they're structured, they're all about the ideal. And this is about you being really certain about moving forward in regards to your worldly ambitions, what you want to learn, what you want to expand on, what you want to grow in regards to your spiritual practices, looking at the world in through a different lens. And this can give you an optimistic flair for doing things out of the box and against the status quo. So you're on board with breaking new terrain in regards to your worldly ambitions with philosophy, travel, education, and different cultures, different people, places, and faces that inspire you and get your adrenaline pumping, get your blood going. So beautiful days from the 30th to the 31st when the sun trines Jupiter. And also in the last 2 days, your ruling planet Venus is conjuncting Neptune. So this can see you dissolving a service, a work relationship, a collab, or the other side of the coin is you get a dream contract, you get your dream team. A service comes around that you thought wasn't going to be present, that you were waiting on, and all of a sudden it appears, like waiting on a surgery, for example. You didn't think it was going to happen, but all of a sudden, yes, we've got you, it's happening. So either way, your ruling planet conjuncting Neptune, you can expect something otherworldly and quite out of the box, out of the blue occurrence going on for you that actually affects your physical body, your identity, and your sense of self. So that is your astrology Libra rising for the first month of January 2025. Trust you have yourself a fabulous month. Thank you for tuning in. I know that was a lot to digest. Okay, so moving forward, I'd like to thank you for your support. And if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. My little Bubba channel is slowly growing, and it's all thanks to astrology enthusiasts such as yourself. You can do small things like hit the bell notification to get notified when I upload the latest videos that are all connected to astrology. You can like the video and you can share the video and comment. What are you looking forward to in 2025 Libra Rising? I'm sure there's plenty that you'd like to accomplish. We all have skin in the game and you're an integral part of it as well. Okay, guys, thanks again and stay cosmic.